I'm 27 and I would like to believe that in a relationship where there is a large age gap that I could make decisions and not feel influenced by the other person because I feel like they're smarter than me, that they are wiser than me, more experienced than me, that it's kind of giving like a parental relationship. I wish that I could confidently say that it wouldn't lean into that, but I don't really believe that. And so I will be staying away from that completely. Unless it's like an Anna Nicole Smith situation, to which, come here, dead man, let's get married. Because that man was practically dead when they got married, okay? I'm 27 and I would like to believe that in a relationship where there is a large age.
All right. Before I get started, I want to say that this shorty uh, posts on TikTok as therapy, self therapy for self, and it has, I forgot what the name of it is, but it has some egregious title. Her vlog, well, not so. Basically, what she's doing is she's just, I guess she doesn't have any friends or family, in the appreciable family. So she airs out her head on in front of the world and shit. And I'm sorry to say, I think that she should seek an analyst, a therapist for some help instead of putting herself out there like that. Because once you put something on the internet, you can't take it back and shit. Okay. I don't know what's going on with her, but she has a superiority inferiority complex, from what I can see. And be that as it may, I thought about not making this. I thought about not making this episode and shit because there was other stuff to do. But then I thought it would be irresponsible of me to not put up the vlog and shit because I have to think about other people and shit. I have to think about other young men and men in general that would meet somebody like this, because a lot of times you got like guys that's, they just want to be in a relationship because they're socially engineered to think they need to be in a relationship at all costs and shit. Some kind of status thing or some kind of, you're supposed to feel complete and shit when we have that genetic drive to build families. Okay, you know despite what the world and our own women will tell us and shit, we do have that drive. That's why you see a lot of black men, outside the community with what would be considered low value women and shit. And it was a running joke for years on Proto Red Pill radio show host Tom Likas. He would annually do this thing where he would talk to black guys and ask them. He had like a bunch of black guys on, and he would ask them why they were with fat white women and shit, and they would all start laughing because the black guys always said the same thing year after year. They didn't want the attitude from their own black women that were as large as the white women they were with and shit. It was just better because they were appreciative of them and their efforts and shit, despite whatever their income was, and that they worked with them and shit, and that they felt more comfortable having children with them because they were more family oriented and shit. They didn't have that baggage and shit. Obviously, for reasons stemming back to the minority majority and shit, not having the weight on their shoulders. Only a lot of them said a lot of the larger Caucasian women or the larger Latin women or the larger, not even larger Asian women, they would only find adversity once people knew they were in a relationship with a black man, right? So that being said, when I look at this woman and she's, airing out her mind, I find that her mind is very dirty and it needs to be cleaned up and shit. What I mean when I say that, I don't mean in a sexual manner. I mean that her delusion is what's making her unhappy and she doesn't realize it and shit. So, I guess, you could take this as me dragging her or not, it really doesn't matter because I'm going to put this fucking episode out anyway. I already made up my mind about it. It's just, the order in which I'm going to put out the fucking episode. All right. So I want to tell this lady, you have a lot of issues, okay? And you're a shorty, okay? She's a shorty, She's legal and everything, but she has the illusions, man. It reminds me of this a scene from the that I've seen in passing from that Precious movie. I've never watched that trash, but there's a scene where the Precious girl imagines herself as some kind of princess or something. Everybody's catering to her like I think she's a celebrity or something in her own head. And I see that in a lot in our community, a lot of delusional black women. I got to be honest with you. She has an okay face and everything. I'm not really into the white woman disguise, but she seems to know how to put her makeup on and her wig and dress a certain somewhat fashionable. But lady, you're fucked. Okay, there are men out there that like bigger women and shit, but they usually don't look like you. Okay, they have to approximate a human shape for the most part. You don't see anybody out there walking a red carpet with a bitch that looks like a planet. Okay, all right, I'm just gonna tell you that you don't see nobody out there with somebody with your fucking body type and shit. I'm not. Well, you can take it how you want. I don't want to make any disclaimers, and I had to catch myself because of my own social engineering, which makes me uh, instinctively make excuses for other people's situation when we shouldn't be doing that. You have to be unapologetically masculine. It's the only way they're gonna learn anything and shit. And it doesn't matter and shit. They could be the most fucked up, shitty looking women, and they could have the most egregious, incredible demands on your person and your time and your finances and shit. So I say swing the pendulum back the other way. She's big as a fucking house. She has no goddamn neck, and her shoulders are probably wider than mine. You know, shoulders are probably wider than mine and shit. Right? She's big. She's a square with limbs sticking out of it. All right, and she has a shitty entitled attitude. She's not fooling anybody. Okay, we know she doesn't. We know she doesn't think of herself in those terms and shit. What she's presenting, whatnot. Everything's very stage produced and shit. But you're a big ass chick and shit. Okay, you got a squarish midsection with limbs sticking out of it, no fucking neck. It's in the layaway, and you got an okay face, and you know how to pick the right wig to put on, and the shit just ain't happening. This stuff. I'm not gonna tell you what you have to accept and everything, but I was motivated to make the video when you made the Anna Nicole Smith analogy and shit. I want to tell you, you want to be an Anna Nicole Smith, you gotta drop some weight. Okay, you gotta drop some weight and shit. You gotta have a exercise routine, and you have to look like something. You have to be out of the ordinary for a Texas millionaire, an oil man, to notice you. Okay, you might get some play overseas in certain areas where they like big women like you, but I don't think you want. I don't think you want a guy from the motherland and shit, or some guy from another culture that would be into women that look like you and shit, because they wouldn't treat you the way you wanted to be treated. All right, and I don't think you're gonna settle at your young age. All right, you're a big fat motherfucker. Okay, you barely look human. All right, you're a fucking refrigerator, man. You're like a slab stone. You're a slab of stone they used to build the pyramids, the great motherfucking pyramids and shit. Okay, I'm tired of this shit. You can put all the makeup and wigs and all this shit on, but underneath, you know who you are. Okay, we see you. All right, when we heard what you said about Anna Nicole Smith and shit, and I'm not caping for that woman, rest in peace. All right, she was a gold digger. She didn't make no bones about this. She was a gold digger, but she was also a physical anomaly in the 90s. Okay, I'm not talking about her head. I'm talking solely about her appearance. She had a vintage throwback appearance to a 1960s beauty standard and aesthetic and shit, and physicality and shit, ranging from the 50s to the late 60s. That was the body type that a lot of guys were into back then. The stacked woman, the Marilyn Monroe, the Jane Mansfield, and you don't have that. You don't fit a beauty aesthetic except in certain corners of our ethnic community and outside it on the diaspora. All right, and those cultures will not cater to you like that. No wealthy man, especially a multi-billionaire, is going to pick you up. Okay, I want to see that. And you post that shit. You got guys that's gonna bang you and shit, but it's gonna be a very limited affair. It's gonna be somebody with a fetish or somebody with afflicted with partialism. That would speak to the black community and shit, where this kind of thing runs rampant because a lot of the women, a lot of guys are visual creatures. We've established that men are visual, while women are somewhat cerebral but highly emotional. All right, so a lot of guys in our ethnic community down in the slave quarters, they were raised by big fat mamas and shit. And they get imprinted on that shit because the women turned them into son husbands and pressed upon them all this shit, to make up for the loss of a man in the house and shit. And that's how you get this weird partialism where you see dudes, like regular looking dudes with these big fat women that look like blocks and shit, like wooden blocks, you know, looking like a stone slab with limbs and a head on it, and they got shitty attitude. These dudes are just, in love with certain parts of you, like your derriere or something, or your bust, or maybe just your face. All right, is that a reality you want to live in, or do you want to change your reality and be something? Okay, you want to be an Anna Nicole Smith. You got a ton of work ahead of you, and you need to work on yourself academically and financially and shit, so that you have the money to go through those rigors and shit. And then after the end result, how are you going to feel having made all of these changes just to get someone that's going to treat you like an object? Your feminism is fake. All right, that's basically what I'm telling you right now. This is why I say fake feminism. This is why I laugh at your attitude, because it doesn't mean anything in the long run and shit. If you get action and shit, it's going to be from somebody that has a fetish or some dude that's, desperate for a relationship because he's been socially engineered that way. Will it be true love? I don't know. Do you know? I don't know if you know. But I think you need to get therapy, okay? You need to find a way to really and truly love yourself. And you need to get off the world stage, because maybe one day you'll find out who you are. Maybe one day you'll be happy and shit. But we'll have the records. Your artificial Akashic records right here for all to see for all time and shit. Until the end of the world. Even if that's tomorrow. Okay? Now you go take care of yourself. You're 27, okay? You still got time to get it together. All right, that's enough, okay? Have a nice day, bitch.
Say, why don't you pick on somebody your own disposition?
Oh, please, Mr. Barroom Brawler. Don't hurt me or anything like that.
This message has been paid for by the Dusties. Yes, the niggas you love to hate.